Right, so this morning is upper body, well it's full body actually, and it's really how I integrate running into a weight training program. Over the past year I've got more into running, and it's been interesting, learning pretty much all the time about how to use it, how it impacts my quality of strength training and building muscle and so forth. But today's session is a little bit different to Monday and Friday. It's Wednesday today, by the way. It's a little bit different to the other two sessions because all the movements are specific to a running pattern. So it's actually designed around sprinting, and it's the idea behind it, or my concept is, can you build muscle tissue, build strength, but also in a way which is congruent with running and doesn't make you more rigid. A common warm-up I'll see people do is with the band, where they go like this, and what they're essentially doing there is, if somebody has tight shoulders, or like round here there's like impingements, and the whole idea is this is warming it up, that's not really the best tactic, because as you pull this band apart, you're basically going to get the muscles in the shoulders to work a little bit shorter, so concentrically, and that's actually going to get the shoulders to shrug up a little bit more, which in my opinion isn't the best method for that. Also, when you pull a band apart, is that the band is going to increase in tension as I go like this. So obviously there's slack in the band, and as I pull it apart like that, we're increasing the tension. However, basically the resistance is going exactly parallel through the shoulders. So going like this, there's no resistance because the band's slack, and going like this, where there's most resistance, the tension is actually going right through your shoulders. It's not actually doing anything to your shoulders. It's just basically making you a little bit tighter in the top of the neck. So in my opinion, band pull apart's not the best thing to warm up because it physically doesn't actually do anything. What I actually prefer is just something a lot more simple, which is, I get a lot of clients to do this. It's just a shoulder floss. This is all I'll do to warm up my shoulders, is just go to there where I can feel some tension. I just want to shrug up like that and just wake up the upper traps. So I go up, shrug, and then back down, and then because of a cable, really simple, you can just do it at different levels. So I can go across there, and I can do like a side shrug like this, and I'm not really focusing on any specific muscles. I'm just teaching my shoulder blade how to go in different directions. And again, go up this point here, right to the top. Go to that position there, just find a point where you don't feel any discomfort in the shoulder, go into there, and then just little movements like this, and even doing some circles like that. And that cable's pulling you in that direction, so you're pulling it towards you. It's basically just, again, warming up all the shoulders in different directions with what you want. Like I say, I know it's very popular with the band, I'm not necessarily going to go at it, but I'm just explaining, is that no tension there because the band's slack, a lot of tension there because the band's now got some, obviously got some tension in it, but now if you look at this as a line, it's going straight through my shoulders. It's basically just getting you there, and that top of the neck is a place where a lot of people generally get tight. Okay, so dumbbell rows. When it comes to back training, this is kind of back training, but it's not back training. The first movement was for lats in a longer position. Really simple theory is that I'm just training being able to do that and pull down. So the beginning path. When I watch people train, or people tell me the programs, too much emphasis in my opinion on that. So where the weight is heaviest in this shortened position, you're not getting that much lat. It's really more about spinal extensors, so the muscles of the spine, back of your shoulder, and when you're repeating that with cables where you're pulling it towards you, then you go into dumbbell row, then you go into T-bar row, it's all the same thing. This variation here is not a good hypertrophy exercise, but I use it because it's basically helping me turn. So in other words, it's about helping me rotate and being able to hold everything in place. So if someone said to me, I want a bigger back, I would not use this exercise. But I like it because the way I have to brace frees everything up, so my hips feel a lot looser for when I'm running, which is really, really important. So with that one, the progression, even though it may seem like, oh, I'll just increase the weight each week, it's not really about weight in the dumbbell. That's just a cue. What I'm thinking with this one is that I am pulling with the dumbbell, but what my knee and my opposite hand are doing are equally important. So I'm basically, if you think about it, that dumbbell adds resistance to my body which wants to take me that way, which then means that if I push this knee down and that one there, as I pull up like this, I can push into the bench, and that's what teaches me how to kind of rotate through the body like that. So essentially it's how well I can make my hand heavy on there and my knee on there. If I go too heavy with that, so if I go up to like, I don't know, like 25 or 30, I just feel like I'm rowing and not getting that proper pushing into the bench type of thing. So it's not actually about weight, which again, it's why it's not the best hypertrophy movement. But if you think about it, is this knee's coming up and that's going backwards, it's that motion. And that motion again is really important for running. So it's just like a mixture. Again, I have like specific movements where the goal is to load and to build muscle tissue, and then ones which are more like functional, which are going to transfer to making me a better runner. Okay, so that's Tricep Superset. Do 2 sets of that. Prior to that was rear delts. Really simple, is that really target triceps right at the top, so fibers up here, is that muscles around the shoulder, so rear delts, teres major, minor, all those muscles, if they're restricted, the way I see it is that you can't really tap into the triceps, if that makes sense. So one like that, just target them in different directions, with the overload being in a more lengthened position, light and just fluid. So I'm not bothered about overload, I'm not bothered about going down the stack. It's more about 15 to 20 reps, just get some fluidity and movement through there, and then that gives me better shoulder rotation, which means I can target the triceps in different ranges. Dumbbell to get more of a lengthened position, this one more shortened. This one, in my opinion, even though the load that you'll use is relatively low, it's the most accurate triceps in a shortened range, and that's really important for shoulder health and kind of posture. I need to stop doing that. But posture in terms of long head tricep is very important shoulder stabilizer, and that one teaches it how to be work in a shortened position. So if somebody's like this all day, it's going to be long and weak, so that's kind of pulling it back. So I'd focus more on tricep work than actual like shoulder retraction, or an equal amount. So that's actually a really good one for people who work at a desk all day, even though it's seen as more of an aesthetic exercise. Okay. So yeah, with this exercise, the idea is that so obviously we're hitting the hamstrings in a shortened position, and again, it's probably one of the most transferable across to running because it's that kind of frictional kick off the ground. So this is a very important exercise, which obviously doubles as something that's going to improve the running. Prior to that, glute bridges, just 2 sets of that, one 12 reps, one 8 reps. 2-second pause at the top, just because I want to overload the shortened range. So this is push off and hip and push off with the glutes, push off with the foot. So these 2 exercises back to back. What I've noticed is that I'm going to run after this. It sparks my running out, so it makes it a lot more challenging. But it's like doing a pre-fatigue set. So this is actually pre-fatiguing my glutes and my hamstrings, which makes the running more challenging. But then in my head, when I don't do this beforehand, I'll be fresher and stronger at the running. So it's like a pre-fatigue set. So yeah, one more set on this and then running. So at the moment, I'm chasing 2 goals, which
When I chat to people, with the trainers or the clients, they'll say, I want to get fitter and better at running, quicker, or put on muscle as well. And they said, but I know those goals don't go hand in hand. And they do. You're just not going to get very good at one of them specifically. Doesn't mean you can't do both. It doesn't mean you can't make incremental gains. Jay McGee, obviously, does my nutrition for me, and we've been pushing up calories to the highest that they've been for a while for me, which is about 3,200, which is quite a lot for me. Just because I like to function probably around the high 2000s, so I have noticed my body weight going up. And if there's a correlation I've noticed, it's my body weight going up makes running a lot harder. But at the moment I'm running 3 times a week with the goal of getting a 5.5 minute mile this year, with next year's goal to try and get under sub 5. So I'm giving myself pretty much 12 months of training to get 30 seconds off that time. Today's time was 1 second, I'll just check now. So the mile was 5 minutes 54. So 5 minute 54 mile, which means I've got 24 seconds to trim when I test it in a couple of weeks. Now that seems like a lot, but I'm doing this at the end of a workout as well, so factoring that in. But yeah, noticing that the increase in body weight does make it harder to run. But yeah, Monday is intervals, max speed, 2.5 minutes rest, 4 rounds, doing it for as long as I can, which is anywhere between 20 to 35 seconds. Wednesday is the mile run. Friday is the pace that I want to run for a mile, 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. So I'm practicing going at that speed. I am doing cardio every day, but short duration, 10 to 15 minutes, so that I'm getting that cardiovascular health, so my heart is fitter. Simple as that. But yeah, subjectively, that was about an 8 out of 10 today, 8.5. Started at 17, had to drop it down, and then I finished with a bit of a sprint. If I can sustain that pace, and if I get anywhere near the 5.5 minutes, I'll be happy. Like I said with deadlifts, I make these goals which are hard, so I challenge myself. If I don't hit the goals, it's not the end of the world, because I'll just hit them later on in 6 months, 12 months time. It means a lot to me to hit the goal. I really, really want to get it, but if I don't get it, it doesn't matter. So that's my outlook on things. Very, very determined and do anything I can to achieve it. But if I don't achieve it, don't worry, because I'll hit it sometime later.